home. But the people that had already, let's go.
See, I take a photo of people with masks.
Get the most plastic people to these people. Everybody had already. This neighborhood is very close. So everybody was exposed. You got it. You understand? I understand. No, the
Can you just tell me how you've been feeling this week with everything that's going on? You were saying that you feel targeted. Is that how you feel?
Yes, I certainly feel targeted when the governor says that we did not close down the yeshivas in the spring, when all of my children were home and learning their lessons online, and when we didn't even conduct a Seder, which is a cornerstone of our religion, to do it with the family. And older people were sitting alone. People were sitting with their wives, with nobody else. Even elderly people. Some people opened the windows so that the neighbor could listen in, and that the services were conducted in the street, gathering a quorum of 10 people, speaking from, praying from one porch, another porch, and we did all this voluntarily. We destroyed the bread by just flushing a few pieces down the toilet. We did everything we were supposed to. And there was no violence. And even now there was no violence except for one man who back in the spring was pointing to any synagogue that was open. And when the cops came, they found a few people sitting distantly from each other. I don't think any ethnic group would tolerate that from their own people.
So what's your, sorry, what?
And the way the mayor treated us, and the way he treated those who were looting and burning and committing all kinds of crimes. Because yes, something outrageous was done and should be protested, condemned, everything else, but not to harm innocent people. And he said nothing. And all the governor had to say was, you weren't social distancing. And after a long time, he said like a baby, he's crying, you won, enough. And when it wasn't enough, he didn't do anything. And now he's Mr. Big, telling everyone what to do. He'll take everything over, just put it in his hands. I think it's definitely discrimination, and especially from the press. The press only spoke in a positive way about all that looting and burning. And I heard the way the press spoke after the mayor. Why are Orthodox Jews being favored? And the police weren't there. They had nothing to be there. There was no violence except against one person who in the spring was pointing out wherever he thought there was a gathering of Jews. And when the police came, they found a small number of people social distancing. And as I said, no ethnic group would let one of their own get away with something like that. That was the only person who was roughed up, and nobody was killed or seriously injured.
So what's your feeling to be dealing with all of this and the shutdown that's being imposed, especially in this very holy time of the Jewish calendar?
Yes.
How does it make you feel?
It definitely makes us feel targeted. It makes us feel that we're being treated differently than other ethnic groups by the government and by the press. And especially when I heard with my own ears the recording of the government saying they didn't close down the yeshivas in the spring. I know from my own family how false that is. And to say that's why we have this now, that's not right. And in general, I think this is the least violent community you can ever come across with. And if you have to walk alone in the street 2 o'clock at night, this is the place. And if you have to take cameras, if you have to take pictures, and if you have to send the reporters, and they know that's not going to be positive, but negative, this is the only place where you can feel safe that you'll go home in one piece.
Thank you so much for taking the time. My colleague has your name, yes?
Yes.
Yes? Thank you, sir.
What kind of fish?
Indoors.
We're going on.